Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into something a bit different. Not just gear, really, but maybe functional art.
That's a good way to put it. We're talking about a modern classic, an effects pedal that lots of people, really love.
Absolutely. It's about celebrating that lush analog delay sound that's become, well, almost defining for a generation.
Right. We've gathered quite a bit of material on the MXR M169A. That's the carbon copy 10th anniversary analog delay. And our mission here is to figure out why this specific limited version became such a hot item, like instantly.
Yeah, because there's this interesting paradox, isn't there? Well, we'll get into that.
Exactly. It sounds the same as the regular one, but commands this premium price. We want to unpack that.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. You have to talk about the original, the standard M169 carbon copy.
Yeah, got to set the stage. That pedal came out in 2008.
And it just hit immediately. It had that perfect mix, affordable, built like a tank, and crucially, that sound, that specific, dark, warm repeat.
It really nailed something. It became like standard issue on pedal boards almost overnight. A true modern classic.
So that popularity, that legacy, that's the whole reason for the M169A in 2018, right? 10 years on.
Precisely. Celebrating a decade of being a bestseller. But here's the crucial bit, the thing that really drives the collector's angle. This wasn't just another production run. The sources we looked at all point to MXR making only about 1,000 of these, total. Worldwide.
Wow, okay. 1,000, that's genuinely limited.
Yeah, not limited like some runs.
Yeah.
That number basically guarantees scarcity right out of the gate.
So did people jump on it immediately? Was it the demand, instant?
Oh, absolutely. As soon as the details, and especially the look, were announced, people knew. Gear forums, collectors, they saw it.
They saw it as a collector's piece from day one.
Totally. It was a finite tribute to this incredibly popular circuit. That tiny production number basically sealed its fate as a trophy before it even shipped.
Okay, this leads us perfectly into that core puzzle, the design paradox you mentioned.
Right.
Usually, an anniversary edition, you expect maybe a tweaked circuit, a new feature, something sonically different.
Yeah, that's the common expectation.
But the M169A, tonally, it's identical to the standard green one everyone knows, so why the fuss? Why the limited run if the sound isn't the upgrade?
And that's what's so interesting. MXR's goal here wasn't about changing the sound. It was about preserving it perfectly, but wrapping it in this completely different high-end aesthetic.
Yeah.
The sources are crystal clear on this. Inside, it's 100% analog. It uses the exact same Bucket Brigade delay setup as the original.
Bucket Brigade, BBD chips. We hear that term thrown around a lot. For someone listening who isn't deep into circuit diagrams, what does that actually mean for the sound?
That's a great point. So think of those chips, the MN3205s in this case, like a tiny, tiny conveyor belt for the sound signal.
Okay.
The signal gets passed down this line of buckets. Each time it moves, it loses just a tiny bit of high-frequency sparkle and maybe picks up a touch of subtle noise or warmth.
So it's actually the imperfection of the process, the way the sound kind of naturally degrades a bit.
That's exactly it. That gradual, natural roll-off of the highs is what gives it that dark voicing, that organic feel people love. It's beautifully imperfect, like you said.
And the M169A keeps that exact same imperfect process.
Absolutely. Same sound, same true bypass switching, runs on a standard 9-volt adapter, same delay time range too, 20 milliseconds right up to 600.
They even kept the internal trim pots, didn't they? Those little adjustments inside the pedal.
For tweaking the modulation, speed and depth.
Now, be honest, does anyone really open up their pedal to mess with those? Or is that just for the hardcore tweakers?
It's a fair question. Look, most players, the external mod switch is plenty, but for, the studio engineers, the sound designers, or someone really trying to nail a specific vibe, maybe matching it perfectly with another effect, or getting a super specific tape stutter speed for a synth line, those internal pots are gold. It shows they kept the whole original circuit intact.
Okay, so identical sound, identical core function. The value shift has to be all about the outside, the presentation. The original's that classic army green box, right? Very functional.
Utilitarian, yeah. Sturdy.
So what did they do for the anniversary edition visually? What made it instantly collectible?
They basically put it in a mirror ball suit. It's this polished, brushed aluminum enclosure, highly reflective, like a mirror, with simple, stark black graphics.
Whoa, okay, that's a statement.
It really is. It stands out massively compared to the standard green. It immediately shifts it from just being a tool on your board to being like this eye-catching object, a bit of bling.
So that kind of addresses the paradox. You're not buying a better sounding delay.
Right.
You're buying the celebration of this hugely successful delay presented as something visually unique, functional art, like you said earlier.
Precisely. The visual change is the upgrade. And the packaging matched that vibe, too. Special commemorative box, anniversary branding, even a little certificate-style insert.
Ah, the full collector's treatment.
Exactly. Reviews at the time all mentioned that boutique feel. It really proved that for some players and collectors, the story, the scarcity, the look, that emotional connection can be just as valuable, maybe even more so than a technical change.
But that amazing core sound is what makes the celebration worthwhile in the first place. We should really dig into that sound now. What is it about this particular analog circuit that makes it so enduring, regardless of the paint job?
It really comes down to that warmth and how the repeats decay. They lose high frequencies quite quickly, so they get darker with each echo.
Right.
This means they sound rich and musical, and they don't clash with your main guitar signal. They kind of tuck in nicely behind it, rather than sounding sharp or, sterile like some digital delays can.
And then there's the modulation, that mod switch. That's kind of the carbon copy's secret weapon, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It takes it beyond just simple repeats.
Describe that effect for someone who maybe hasn't heard it properly, that tape-like thing.
Okay, so imagine an old tape echo machine where the tape isn't perfectly smooth. Maybe it wobbles a tiny bit as it goes around.
Yeah.
The modulation adds a very subtle, gentle waver to the pitch of the repeats. A little bit of movement. It gives them this sense of width and depth, mimics those lovely imperfections of real tape. Players call it tape flutter, or wow and flutter.
It's that slightly unstable, organic quality.
Exactly. It adds this beautiful dimension that's hard to get right digitally. It feels alive.
And all this sonic goodness is controlled by just, 3 knobs and that mod switch on the outside?
Yep. Super simple layout. Delay controls the time. Mix blends your clean signal with the echo. And region controls the feedback, how many repeats you get.
Standard stuff, but effective.
Very. And that region knob is key. Push it past, say, 2 o'clock, and you start heading into self-oscillation territory.
Ah, the classic analog feedback swell.
Yes. The repeats start feeding back on themselves, building up into this cascading wash of sound.
Which can be musical, not just noise, because of that dark tone, right?
Precisely. Because it rolls off the highs, the oscillation tends to be this rich, warm roar rather than a piercing digital scream. People use it creatively for ambient textures or, big dramatic endings.
So give us some examples. If you want that classic rockabilly slapback sound.
Easy. Keep the delay knob set really short, maybe around 9 o'clock. Region knob low to like 10 o'clock. Mix to taste. Give you that tight, warm echo.
Okay. And for the other extreme, that big, spacious ambient wash.
Then you push the delay time way up, maybe 3 o'clock or more. Crank the region quite high, say 1.30, just before it really runs away. And definitely hit that mod switch. That combination gives you those long, evolving repeats with that lovely wobble, really spacey.
Now, something really important for how this pedal behaves is where you put it in your signal chain. That came up in the sources. Before or after your overdrive?
Oh, yeah. Huge difference. And it really shows off the pedal's analog character.
How so? What happens if you put it before distortion?
Okay, so if the delay comes first, every single echo gets hit by your overdrive or fuzz pedal. Each repeat gets distorted, compressed, kind of smeared together.
So it sounds messy, but maybe in a good way.
Exactly. It's less like distinct echoes and more like this big, saturated, almost amp-like reverb wash. Very thick, great for rhythm sounds where you want the echo to feel totally integrated.
Okay. And the opposite, placing it after the drive pedals.
That's the more traditional way, usually.
Yeah.
Your distorted guitar tone hits the delay clean, so the repeats themselves are clear, defined echoes of your driven sound.
Ah, much cleaner trails.
Right. They play smoothly without getting further crunched up.
Yeah.
This is generally better if you want your solos to have distinct echoes or for those really clean atmospheric parts where you want the delay to be very noticeable and pristine.
That flexibility, even just based on placement, must be why it's not just for guitarists. The sources mention bass players, too.
Definitely. Because it's analog and have the darker voicing, it doesn't thin out the low end like some delays can. So for bass, especially in genres like dub or reggae where that deep echo is crucial, it works really well.
And synths. In the studio.
Yeah, producers love it for that. If you have a very clean digital synth sound, running it through the carbon copy adds instant warmth, texture, that analog dimension. Perfect for lo-fi hip-hop, synthwave, anything where you want to rough up the edges a bit, make it sound less digital.
Okay, so we get the sound, the application, the versatility. Now let's put the M169A, the anniversary one, back into the context of the whole MXR delay family. How does it sit alongside the others?
Right, so you've got the family tree. The M169A is, as we said, tonally a direct clone of the original green M169.
Got it.
Then MXR released the M169 Bright. Same basic circuit, but they tweaked the EQ before the delay line. It lets more high frequencies through, so the repeats are, well, brighter, clearer, less murky.
For players who maybe found the original too dark.
Exactly. And then you have the bigger sibling, the M292 Carbon Copy Deluxe.
That's the one with more features.
Yeah, that's the modernized version. Adds things people were asking for, like tap tempo, super useful live expression pedal control, switchable bright mode, more modulation control. It's the feature-packed one.
So the M169A really stands apart then. It's not about adding features. It's purely about celebrating that original core sound.
Unchanged sound.
But in that super limited, visually striking package.
Precisely. It occupies its own unique space. Original tone, collector's item aesthetics.
And that collector market definitely responded. The sources confirm reviewers loved the build quality, the look. It was designed to be desirable from the get-go.
No doubt. And the result is, even today, years later, you look at the used market, and the M169A consistently sells for well above what the original retail price was, especially if it's mint with the box and everything.
So people aren't paying extra for better sound, are they?
Nope. They're paying for the rarity, knowing only 1,000 exist, and the prestige of owning that specific commemorative version. It's the ultimate example of that functional art idea in the delay pedal world.
It really does perfectly commemorate one of MXR's biggest hits. It proves how much that dark analog sound resonates, and it successfully merges that with this almost luxury presentation.
And there's actually a cool little backstory to that mirror finish.
Oh, yeah.
The sources mention that the super reflective, brushed aluminum look wasn't originally dreamed up for the anniversary pedal.
Really? What was it for then?
Apparently, it was a prototype finish they were considering for the bright version of the carbon copy, which came out around the same time.
Huh.
But when the internal team and maybe some testers saw it, they loved it so much, they thought it was so special, that they decided to pull it from the bright and reserve it exclusively for the 10th anniversary M169A.
Wow. So they knew it had that wow factor and saved it for the special occasion.
Exactly. They realized that finish was the perfect way to make the anniversary edition visually unforgettable. The most striking carbon copy ever made.
So, wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening? We started out wanting to celebrate a modern classic, and this deep dive into the M169A really shows that sometimes gear value goes way beyond just the circuit. It's a testament to musicians and collectors valuing history, appreciating a milestone, and yeah, liking cool-looking stuff just as much as they like great tone. It honors that amazing sound without changing a thing inside.
Which leaves us with a pretty interesting question to ponder, doesn't it? If a limited collectible pedal sounds exactly the same as the widely available version.
Yeah.
And the real difference boils down to that mirror finish, the fancy box, and the fact that only 1,000 were made. What does that really tell you about where value, or maybe even obsession, lies in the world of modern guitar gear? Is it the sound that justifies the hunt for the rare object? Or does the rarity itself create most of the desire?
That is definitely something to chew on. Food for thought next time you see one of those shiny boxes pop up online.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.